Hi guys, it's Max. In this video I'm gonna start to share my experience with fundraising here in the United States from the scratch, from absolute zero. We started our startup at the end of 2024 and we raised our pre-seed round this spring of 2025. It wasn't a big round, approximately $200,000, but it's enough for us to work until fall of 2025, and this fall we're gonna raise our seed round, and I will gonna share this process as well. I'm gonna share my experience during this round, and now we focus to build our traction. Our traction is still like okay. We have revenue, we have clients, we have products, so I'm pretty confident about our round, but we will see. So here in this video I'm gonna share the top one mistake I'm seeing here in Silicon Valley founders do for their fundraising, like top one mistake. And this mistake is they spend too much time in fundraising, and they're not keeping it short. Your fundraising should be short. It should be 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. If you're doing it for half a year, that's good. That's not a good thing. If you do it for 1 year, it's not a good thing. And I'll explain you why. The first reason why you shouldn't do this is because when you're spending your time on fundraising, you don't spend your time on business, and your final goal is do business, right? So going fundraising in this direction, business is that direction. There's different directions. That's the first part of it. Second part of it, investors, you need to build fear of missing opportunity for them. If you go to one investor, pitch them, they go, okay, I'm gonna think about it. You're gonna come to them in a month, in 2 months, and they start to recognize, well, these guys, they didn't raise for 2 months, they didn't raise any money for last 2 months. Probably their startup is not so good, because these investors here in Silicon Valley, they've been bombarded by different startups, different pitches, so they don't have really much time to dive into each startup and get your idea, like what's going on, what are you doing, maybe it's a good idea, maybe it's not. They are, in many cases, they make their own decisions based on just their emotions, and social proof. Like, okay, these guys, I know some other investors who already invest in these guys. Probably I should do it as well, right? They're not so sophisticated in their investments, to be honest, right? They're just human beings, and in many cases they do their investments based on their emotions. So instead of going from one investor to another investor to third investor, what you should do, you should build a list of your potential good investors. It could be VC funds, it could be angels, and the pre-seed round, probably it's better to have more angels than VC funds, because with angels it's quite more easier for you. So you build your list of your investors, target investors. You can find them, for example, in Crunchbase. You can find the angels who invested recently in startups like yours. And so that means two things: they're interested in a startup like yours, and they active investors, right? Okay, you build this list. Now you need to find an intro path to each of these investors. What's intro path? Intro path is basically other founder, most of the cases is founders, who can write a letter for you, hey, to this guy, hey man, like, I'm gonna introduce you to the Max, they do this startup, probably it's something interesting for you. That's an intro, because in most of the cases you need to find a warm intro, and that's the easiest way to get into these investors. That's the tricky part, right? How can I make someone I don't know to make intro for me? Well, you need to network. How do you network? You network, for my humble opinion, it's 3 ways to do a network. It's the LinkedIn. You just text to the other founders or the other startups, early stage, and get along with them. Like, just interested about the startup, ask them to make a call with you, something like this. Just be friends with them, maybe meet them in person, so you can probably, it's a smart idea to start with someone who live in your own town, right? So you need to know these people, you need to get along with these people, with these founders who can later introduce you to the investors. So LinkedIn is a very good thing to do. The second one is pre-accelerators and accelerators. That's another whole another theme. I'm not going to cover it in this video so much, but accelerators and pre-accelerators is so good. Well, myself, we try to participate in different accelerators. Myself, I applied maybe 20 times to different accelerators for the last 6 months, and all of them reject me. Well, that's okay. I don't know why. Probably our idea is not so good for them, but we're gonna succeed anyway. Anyway, because we have clients, we have revenue, we don't really need these accelerators right now. So accelerators is just perfect, and you definitely should try different accelerators. And if you graduate high school, if you graduate university here in the United States, I think that's a good idea to start there. Well, I'm an immigrant, right? I came from Russia like 7 months ago. I don't have my education here. I didn't graduate any university here in the United States, but if I did, probably I would start there, because in many universities there are accelerator programs for the startups, and if you graduate this university, for sure you already have some connections, right? So that's probably would be a good idea. So my point being, don't stretch this process of fundraising. You need to make it as tight as possible. And how? Okay, I'm gonna share you what do you do after you get this interest, right? You get your investor list. 100 is optimum. You can start with 50, 70, up to you. You get this intro paths to these investors. Now you prepare your pitch deck, you prepare your slides, everything, and your goal is to make these founders to send these intro letters in 1 day, in 2 days. So it should be short. It should be very short. And you just send these 100 emails, and you need to schedule the calls, like 5 calls during the day, 6 calls during the day, as tight as possible. You need to make it tight. You're doing these calls. Another thing why it's so important to make it short is because imagine you do have 1 call with investor, right? Probably you're gonna be nervous, right? Because wow, this investor will be invest me, would he not invest to me? You're gonna be nervous. But imagine you have 5 different investors, right? And you're gonna have them in 1 day. For sure, you'll not be so nervous, right? Even with this guy, it wasn't so good. Okay, I have 4 more calls with investors this day, with the same day. That makes you feel more comfortable in yourself, right? And that's something they're gonna feel. It's like if you have a date with 1 girl in a year, probably you would be super nervous, right? Or with 1 guy in a year. But if it's like I don't know, 100 dates per year, probably you will be not so nervous at 1 particular date. Okay, so you're doing these calls, you pitch them, and the good thing about doing this short, and now you have an opportunity to create a form of fear of missing opportunity. So, for example, you have 1 investor who agreed to invest in your startup, right? Now you have a chance to send the follow-up letters to all other investors who you communicate with before, and you can just share them. Hey guys, what are you doing about this opportunity to invest in our startup? Check this out. This guy, name of this guy, he already invested like $50,000 to our startup. For other investors, that's social proof. So there is a guy who already trusts these guys, right? So probably the startup is good. And second, they can start feel fear of missing opportunity. Oh, probably I need to make my decision faster, right? Because probably they're gonna close the round. They're not kidding. They actually raise money. So they're actually raising money. So yeah, that's another very good thing about it. But my final idea probably would be, well, in my philosophy and what I'm doing myself, I'm focusing on a business side more than on fundraising side. So in my perspective, in my humble opinion, it's better to spend your energy and spend your time to build your traction, to actually do business, to find your clients, to build a product, to sell, to generate revenue, etc., etc., etc. Because the more effort and the more energy you put into your business, the easier gonna be the fundraising itself. So from my perspective, and for sure, if you don't have a reputation in Silicon Valley or in the United States, if you don't have a strong background in the United States, if you're not working for Google for last 10 years, I don't know, in this case, the only one thing, like there are two things you can attract investors, right? First one is your traction. That's the most important thing. And the second one is your personality, right? So investors are human beings, and they invest in the person, especially in the pre-seed rounds or seed rounds. They invest in your personally, in you, like in your persona, in your charisma, if you might say, and in you as a human being. That's a totally different topic. How to become a guy or a girl who own a good energy within yourself, who radiate this good energy and other people can sense it. That's a whole different topic, but that's definitely something that can help you during your fundraising. But still, traction is the king from my perspective. If you are no name, traction is the king. So just save money or get money from 6 to 12 months of work without being needy for fundraising. Just somehow, I don't know, save this money, that amount of money from your last job, or I don't know, ask your parents or ask your friends for this small fundraise round. So you need to find the money for 6 months to 12 months of work, and that amount of time is totally enough to build your traction for a startup. That's what personally I did, and that's something I would recommend you as well. In next videos, I'm gonna tell you more about the traction and how should you build an MVP, and my experience of building my startup. Thanks guys, have a good one.